Captain Taewoo Park stood on the bridge of the Earth Defense Force ship Indomitable. His dark eyes were fixed on the main screen. A fleet of strange ships hung in the blackness of space. They had appeared 3 hours ago at the edge of the solar system. "Any response to our messages?" Taewoo asked. His voice was calm, but his hands gripped the rail tightly. "Yes, Captain. They're answering now," said Hanbin, the communications officer. Hanbin was young, with quick hands that moved over the control panel with ease. The screen flickered. An alien face appeared. It looked like a mix of crystal and flesh. It had no mouth, but lights pulsed across its face when it spoke. "Greetings. Humans of Earth. We are the Raxian Confederation. We come in peace and wish to talk." Taewoo stepped forward. "This is Captain Taewoo Park of the Earth Defense Force. We welcome peaceful contact." The alien's face lights blinked faster. "Your language is simple to understand. Our systems have already learned it. We request a meeting." Do-yeon Kim, the ship's tactical officer, moved next to Taewoo. She was shorter than him, but her eyes were sharp and missed nothing. "I don't like this, Captain," she said quietly. "They learned our language too fast, and that fleet is in attack position." Taewoo nodded slightly. "I see it too, but we can't refuse to meet. That would look bad." He turned back to the screen. "We accept your invitation to meet. We will send a small ship to the coordinates you provide." 6 hours later, Taewoo sat at a strange table on the Raxian ship. Do-yeon sat on his right. Hanbin was on his left with a translator device, even though the aliens seemed to understand them perfectly. The Raxian leader, who called itself High Commander, sat across from them. Its crystal body caught the light and broke it into small rainbows. "Your species is young," the High Commander said, "yet you have advanced quickly. Most species take thousands of years to reach space. You did it in mere hundreds." "We are curious," Taewoo said simply, "and we work hard." The alien's head tilted slightly. "Yes, hard work. That is something we have noticed. Your kind pushes beyond normal limits. Why?" Do-yeon's eyes narrowed. She didn't like this question. It felt like the alien was fishing for something. "It's just how we are," Taewoo answered. "When something matters, we keep going." "Fascinating," the High Commander said. Its lights pulsed in patterns that Taewoo couldn't understand. "We would like to learn more about humans. Would you allow some of our scientists to visit Earth?" Taewoo felt the trap in these words. "We would be happy to share information, but visits to Earth must wait until we know each other better." Of course," the High Commander said, but its lights flickered in what might have been disappointment. "Then perhaps you would share your medical data. It would help us understand how to interact safely." Hanbin looked up from his notes. "Medical data is private. We can share basic biology only." The High Commander's crystals darkened slightly. "As you wish." Back on the Indomitable, Taewoo called his officers for a meeting. "They wanted medical data too badly," Do-yeon said as soon as the door closed. "And did you notice how they watched us? Like we were lab animals?" Hanbin nodded. Their translation was too perfect. Even the best systems take time to learn the meaning behind words, not just the words themselves. Taewoo looked at the star map on the wall. The Raxian fleet had spread out through the outer solar system. Not threatening, but not leaving either. "They're looking for something," he said. "Finally, something about us." "Captain?" A voice called from the ship's communication system. "The Raxians are sending a message. They want to invite human scientists to their ship for a cultural exchange." Taewoo looked at his officers. "This could be a chance to learn more about them. Or a trap," Do-yeon warned. "Both, probably," Taewoo agreed. "Let's contact Earth. We need their best people." Dr. Ji-hoo Choi was Earth's top expert on alien biology. When the call came, he was in his lab looking at cells under a microscope. "They want me to go to an alien ship?" he asked, pushing his glasses up his nose. "Yes," said the voice of General Moon from Earth Defense Force headquarters. "You and a small team. With security, of course." Ji-hoo's heart beat faster. This was the chance of a lifetime. When do we leave? Tomorrow. And Ji-Hoo, be careful. Something isn't right about these aliens. The next day, Ji-Hoo met Security Chief Yoon-seo Kang at the space elevator. She was tall for a Korean woman, with strong arms and alert eyes. Her black uniform had hidden pockets that Ji-Hoo was sure held weapons. Dr. Choi, she said with a small bow, I'll be leading your security team. Please call me Ji-Hoo, he said with a smile. We'll be working closely. Yoon-seo didn't smile back. My job is to keep you safe, Dr. Choi. The Raxians haven't earned my trust yet. Ji-Hoo nodded, feeling less excited and more nervous now. What are you worried about? They're too interested in how humans work, she said, checking her tablet. All their questions focus on our limits. What hurts us? What stops us? Ji-Hoo thought about this as they boarded the shuttle that would take them to orbit. That makes sense if they're worried about making us sick. Maybe, Yoon-seo said, but her eyes said she didn't believe it. The Raxian science ship was huge. Its halls were wide and tall, with strange light that came from the walls themselves. Ji-Hoo walked with his team, trying not to stare at everything like a tourist. A Raxian scientist met them. It was smaller than the High Commander, with more blue in its crystals. Welcome, humans, it said. I am Chief Researcher Rax-10. We have prepared many experiences for you. Thank you, Ji-Hoo said. We look forward to learning about your people. The alien led them to a large room. First, a welcome ceremony. Please, sit and enjoy our light display. The humans sat on curved chairs. Suddenly, the room filled with flashing lights in patterns that made Ji-Hoo's eyes hurt. Strange sounds played from hidden speakers. Ji-Hoo saw Yoon-seo's hand move to her side where a weapon was surely hidden. But nothing bad happened. The display ended after 5 minutes. Did you enjoy? Rax-10 asked, studying them closely. It was interesting, Ji-Hoo said politely. The alien seemed confused. You felt nothing special? Should we have? Yoon-seo asked, her voice sharp. No, Rax-10 said quickly. It affects different species in different ways. Now please follow me to the dining area. We have prepared special food for you. As they walked, Ji-Hoo moved close to Yoon-seo. That was strange, he whispered. Yes, she agreed. They expected the light show to do something to us, and they're disappointed it didn't. Back on Earth in a small office at Defense Headquarters, analyst Junho Bayek was looking through all the Raxian messages and requests. He was good at finding patterns, and something was bothering him. Medical data, stress responses, neural mapping, he muttered, making notes. They keep asking about the same things. He pulled up old human records about first contacts with other alien races. None had been so interested in human biology. None had asked so many questions about what happens when humans are hurt or scared. Junho sat up straight as a cold feeling washed over him. He reached for his communication device. This is Analyst Bayek. I need to speak to General Moon immediately. It's about the Raxians, he said urgently. I think I know what they're looking for. The Raxian ship named Truthseeker was huge. It had been 3 days since Dr. Ji-Hoo Choi and his team came aboard. Each day, the aliens showed them strange things they called cultural exchanges. Ji-Hoo sat in his small room, making notes on his tablet. The door opened and Yoon-seo walked in. Her face was serious. Dr. Choi, have you noticed anything strange about these cultural exchanges? She asked. Ji-Hoo nodded. Yes, they keep showing us things that should make us feel something, but they don't tell us what we should feel. Yoon-seo sat down across from him. Yesterday they played that sound for an hour, the one that changed from very low to very high. Yes, it was annoying but not harmful, Ji-Hoo said. Then they seemed surprised when we just sat there, Yoon-seo added. Like they expected us to, I don't know, fall down or something. Ji-Hoo tapped his tablet. And today they showed us those flashing red and green lights. The pattern made me a bit dizzy, but the aliens watched us so closely, almost like they were waiting for something. Yoon-seo leaned forward. These tests seem oddly specific, almost like they're trying to find something. Ji-Hoo nodded slowly. And they're getting frustrated by not finding it. A soft beep came from Yoon-seo's pocket. She pulled out her communicator. It's from Earth. Analyst Bayek sent some information. She read the message, and her face grew more serious. Junho says the Raxians have been asking all Earth governments for the same things: medical data, stress response studies, and how our brains work when we're in danger. That's concerning, Jihu said. Yes. And Captain Park reports the Raxian fleet has been running scan after scan on our ships, all focused on our bodies, not our technology. Jihu thought for a moment. Tomorrow, let's watch them more closely. I think they're testing us, not sharing their culture. The next morning, the human team was taken to a large empty room. The walls could change color and pattern. The Raxian scientist, Rax 10, stood taller than usual. Today we share a special experience, it said. This is a room we use to help young Raxians learn control. Please stand in the center. Jihu and his team moved to the middle of the room. Yunseo positioned herself near Jihu, her hand never far from her hidden weapon. Now please remain still, Rax 10 said, backing away to the door. The experience will begin. The door closed. Suddenly the air in the room changed. It became heavy with a sweet smell that made Jihu's nose itch. Don't breathe deeply, Yunseo warned the team. Something's in the air. The walls began to glow with deep purple light. A low hum filled the room, making Jihu's teeth feel strange. The floor under them began to vibrate. One of the younger scientists, Minwoo, sneezed. Sorry, he said. Just an allergy, I think. Jihu watched the door carefully. Through a small window, he could see Rax 10 and several other Raxians watching them. They were making notes, and their crystal bodies were flashing with light patterns. After 10 minutes, the smell, light, and sound stopped. The door opened and Rax 10 entered. Its movements were stiff and the lights on its face were blinking rapidly. How do you feel? It asked. Fine, Jihu said. It was an interesting experience. What was it supposed to do? The alien's lights dimmed a bit. It is a calming room for our young. Did you feel calm? Not really, Yunseo said. The smell made my nose itch. The Raxian made a sound like stones grinding together. It might have been frustration. I see. Perhaps humans respond differently. Would you like to rest now? No, Jihu said. We're not tired. We'd like to learn more about your ship. The Raxian seemed to freeze for a moment. Of course, follow me. As they walked, Jihu moved next to Yunseo. They expected that room to do something to us, he whispered. She nodded. Yes, and they're getting worried that nothing is working. Back on Earth, Junho Bayek was in a meeting with General Moon and Captain Park, who had returned from the Indomitable. The pattern is clear, Junho said, pointing to his screen. Every test the Raxians run on our people has one thing in common. They're all things that affect other alien species they've met before. Affect them how? General Moon asked. They cause them to stop fighting, Junho explained. The sound frequencies they used on Dr. Choi's team yesterday, they make the Zentari species fall into a deep sleep. The light patterns from 3 days ago, they cause the Volok's to freeze in place. Captain Park leaned forward. They're looking for our off switch. Junho nodded. Exactly. In my research, I found references in their messages to what they call control protocols. Every species they've met has some biological weakness that can stop them from fighting. A smell, a sound, a light pattern that turns off their ability to fight. And they can't find ours, General Moon said slowly. No, sir. They've tried 16 different methods so far. None worked. Captain Park stood up and walked to the window. The sky was clear blue, but he knew the Raxian ships were up there watching. We need to warn Dr. Choi and his team, he said. If the Raxians can't find a peaceful way to control us, they might try something more dangerous. On the Truth Seeker, Rax 10 was meeting with its science team. The room was dark except for the glow of their crystal bodies. The tests have all failed, Rax 10 said. The humans show no response to any control protocol. Impossible, said another Raxian. All biological life has limits, has weaknesses. We must try stronger methods. The High Command grows concerned, Rax 10 said. If humans have no combat off switch, they are dangerous. They could fight beyond reason, beyond control. Tomorrow we will try the final test, a third Raxian said. The one that has worked on every carbon-based life form we have ever found. Rax 10's lights dimmed. If it fails, then we must report to High Command that humans are unique and potentially a threat to galactic peace. Jihu woke up in the middle of the night. His communicator was blinking with an urgent message from Earth. He opened it and read quickly. "Wake up," he whispered to Yunseo, who slept in the same room for security. "I know what they're doing." Yunseo was instantly alert. "What is it?" "The Raxians are testing us for weaknesses. They want to find something that will make humans stop fighting. A biological off-switch." Yunseo sat up. "That explains everything, the tests, the scans, the questions about our stress responses." Jihu nodded. "And according to this message from Junho, they haven't found anything that works on us." "What happens when they realize we don't have a combat off-switch?" Yunseo asked. Jihu's face was grim in the dim light. "I don't know. But we need to be ready for their next test, and I think it will be more dangerous than the others." Outside their room in the dark hallway, a Raxian guard stood still, listening. Its crystal body gave off just enough light to show its head turning toward the closed door. The lights on its face blinked rapidly as it sent a silent message to Rax 10. The humans knew. Tomorrow's test would be even more important now. Morning came quickly on the Raxian ship. Jihu and Yunseo met with the rest of their team in the small dining area. They spoke in quiet voices. "We need to be extra careful today," Jihu told the 5 other scientists. "We now know the Raxians are testing us for weaknesses." Minwoo, the young biologist, looked worried. "What kind of weaknesses?" "They want to find something that makes humans stop fighting," Yunseo explained. "A sound, a smell, a light pattern, something that shuts us down." "Like an off-switch?" asked another scientist. Jihu nodded. "Exactly. And they're getting worried because they haven't found one yet." The door opened. Rax 10 entered with 2 larger Raxians. Their crystal bodies had more red in them than the scientists. They looked like guards. "Good morning, humans," Rax 10 said. "Today we have prepared our most special cultural exchange. It is a great honor." Yunseo caught Jihu's eye. This would be the dangerous test they were warned about. "Thank you," Jihu said politely. "We look forward to it." In a hidden room on the Raxian ship, the High Commander's image floated on a large screen. It spoke to Rax 10. "The final test must work," the High Commander said. "If humans have no combat deactivation protocol, they cannot join the Confederation." "I understand," Rax 10 replied. "But what if they truly have none? Every test has failed." The High Commander's lights pulsed slowly. "Then they are too dangerous. A species that cannot be stopped when it fights is a threat to all." "The tests today will be stronger than before," Rax 10 promised. "If there is a way to deactivate human combat ability, we will find it." Back on Earth, Captain Park sat in the control center with General Moon and Junho. A large screen showed the Raxian ships around Earth's orbit. "They've moved closer," Captain Park noted. 3 ships are now just outside our defense line. General Moon frowned. "They're getting ready for something." Junho looked up from his tablet. "I've been studying their known history. The Raxians have met 18 other species. All joined their confederation peacefully." "Because the Raxians found their off-switches," Captain Park said. "Yes. And according to my research, there was one species that resisted at first, the Mektari." "What happened to them?" General Moon asked. Junho's face was grim. "They disappeared. The official record says they declined to join the Confederation and chose isolation. But there's no record of anyone meeting them again." The room was silent for a moment. "We need to get our people off that ship," Captain Park said finally. Jihu and his team were led to a large round room deep in the Raxian ship. The walls were made of a strange black material that seemed to swallow light. "Please enter and stand in the center circle," Rax 10 instructed. Yunseo went first, checking for obvious dangers. The room was empty except for a small device in the middle. What is this experience about? Jihu asked as his team gathered in the center. It is our most sacred connection ritual, Rax 10 explained. It creates a feeling of unity among different beings. The door sealed shut with a hiss. Rax 10 stayed outside watching through a small window. I don't like this, Minwoo whispered. The device in the center began to glow. The air became thick and hard to breathe. A high-pitched sound started, so quiet at first they barely noticed it. But it grew louder, cutting into their ears. Cover your ears, Yunseo shouted. But her voice sounded far away. The floor under them began to vibrate. The walls seemed to close in. The air filled with a mist that tasted like metal. The sound grew until it felt like needles in their heads. Minwoo fell to his knees, hands over his ears. Another scientist sat down hard, looking dizzy. Jihu felt his heart racing too fast. Sweat covered his face. Yunseo pushed through the pain and made it to the device. She tried to turn it off, but it shocked her hand. She pulled out her weapon and fired at it. The device sparked and went dark. The sound stopped. The mist began to clear. Is everyone okay? Jihu asked, his voice shaking. The team members were all standing or sitting, holding their heads or ears. They looked sick and tired, but they were all conscious and alert. We're alive, Minwoo said weakly. That was not a cultural exchange. The door slid open. Rax 10 stood there with several guards. The lights on its face were blinking, rapidly in what looked like alarm. Impossible, it said. The neural disruptor should have rendered you all unconscious within 30 seconds. Yunseo pointed her weapon at Rax 10. This was not a test. This was an attack. It was necessary, Rax 10 said. We had to know if humans could be controlled. And now you know we can't, Jihu said, standing straight despite his pounding head. What happens next? Before Rax 10 could answer, a loud alarm sounded through the ship. On the Raxian command ship, the High Commander was meeting with its War Council. A holographic image of a human brain floated in the center of the room. They have no combat deactivation protocol, Senior Biologist Raxven reported to the High Commander. When injured, they don't shut down, they fight harder. When exhausted, they draw on reserves we can't detect. When outmatched, they become more creative and unpredictable. The High Commander's crystalline form pulsed with alarm. Every species has a limit. Find theirs. We have tried everything in our knowledge, Raxven insisted. The final test on the Truth Seeker just failed. The neural disruptor had no lasting effect. Another council member spoke up. High Commander, the humans have discovered our purpose. They know we are testing them for weaknesses. The High Commander's lights dimmed to a deep red. Then we must act quickly. If humans cannot be controlled through biological means, they are too dangerous to join the Confederation. What are your orders? Asked the war chief. Prepare the fleet. If humans have no off switch, we must contain them before they spread beyond their system. On Earth, alarms were blaring in the defense center. Captain Park rushed to the main screen. The Raxian fleet is moving, he reported. All ships are taking attack positions. General Moon turned to his communications officer. Contact our team on the Raxian ship. Tell them to get to their shuttle now. Junho's tablet beeped with an incoming message. His face paled as he read it. Sir, I'm receiving data from Dr. Choi. The Raxians just tried to use a neural disruptor on our team. It was designed to knock them unconscious, but it didn't work. And now they're preparing to attack, Captain Park said, because we don't have an off switch. General Moon stood tall. Alert all Earth Defense Forces, prepare for possible attack, and get our people home. Captain Park looked up at the screen showing the approaching Raxian ships. They think we're dangerous because we don't stop fighting easily. Looks like they're about to find out how right they are. Alarms rang through the Raxian ship Truth Seeker. Red lights flashed in the hallways. Jihu and his team were surrounded by Raxian guards with strange weapons. What's happening? Jihu asked Rax 10. The alien's crystal body flickered with dark colors. You must return to your rooms, now. Yunseo stepped forward, her weapon still in her hand. No, we're leaving. Our shuttle is still in your docking bay. We're going back to Earth. I cannot allow that, Rax 10 said. The High Command has ordered. A voice came from a speaker on the wall interrupting Rax 10. It spoke in the Raxian language, but the message seemed urgent. Rax 10's lights dimmed. Earth ships are approaching. Your people are coming for you. Then let us go, Jihu said. There doesn't need to be a fight. Rax 10 was silent for a moment. Then it turned to the guards. Take them to their shuttle. They may leave. The guards seemed surprised, but they obeyed. As the humans were led down the hallway, Jihu moved, closer to Rax 10. Why are you letting us go? He asked quietly. Because I am a scientist, not a warrior, the alien replied. And I have learned enough about humans to know that trapping you would be unwise. Captain Park stood on the bridge of the Indomitable. His ship led a group of 10 Earth vessels heading toward the Raxian science ship. Any response to our message? He asked Han Bin. Yes, Captain. The Raxians say they are releasing our people. The shuttle is preparing to launch now. Captain Park nodded, but his face remained serious. Keep our weapons ready. I don't trust them. Do-Yeon, at the tactical station, looked up from her screen. Captain, the Raxian fleet is spreading out around Earth. 20 ships now in attack position. They're getting ready for something big, Captain Park said. Contact Earth Defense. Tell them to be prepared. The main screen lit up. The High Commander's face appeared. Captain Park, it said, its voice cold. Your species has created a difficult situation. By not having a weakness you can exploit? Captain Park asked. I'm sorry to disappoint you. The High Commander's lights pulsed slowly. Every species in the Confederation has natural limitations that prevent conflict from escalating beyond control. This balance has kept peace for thousands of years. We have limitations too, Captain Park said. We choose when to stop fighting. That is the problem, the High Commander replied. Choice is unpredictable, dangerous. Your scientists are being released, but we must discuss your planet's future. General Moon met with Earth's leaders in the underground command center. Screens showed the Raxian fleet positions. They see us as a threat, he explained. Because we don't have a biological off switch that can stop us from fighting. That's ridiculous, said one leader. We're not mindless animals, we can choose peace. The Raxians don't trust choice, Junho explained. Their whole society is built on biological controls. They find the idea of beings who can choose to keep fighting even when hurt or tired scary. Another screen lit up. Captain Park's face appeared. General, the High Commander wants to meet with Earth's leaders. They're requesting a face-to-face meeting on their command ship. General Moon looked at the world leaders. This is our chance to avoid a war. Who will go? 3 hours later, Captain Park's shuttle docked with the Raxian command ship. Inside were Captain Park, General Moon, and Jihu, who had returned safely from the Truth Seeker. They were led to a large meeting room where the High Commander waited. Thank you for coming, the High Commander said. We have a serious matter to discuss. Yes, we do, General Moon replied. Your ships are in attack position around our planet. That looks like a threat. The High Commander's crystal body glowed brightly. It is a precaution. Your species presents an unprecedented situation. You lack the natural limitations that ensure galactic peace. You mean we don't have an off switch, Captain Park said calmly. And that frightens you. It concerns the entire Confederation, the High Commander continued. A species that can continue fighting beyond biological reason is inherently destabilizing. Jihu stepped forward. But that same trait gives us strength in other ways. We don't give up easily on anything, not just fighting. The High Commander seemed to consider this. Perhaps, but the Confederation requires certainty. Control. You have none. General Moon's face hardened. So what are you saying? Join your Confederation and accept artificial controls, or face attack? Those are the options the War Council has proposed, the High Commander admitted. Captain Park stood tall. There is another option. Let me show you something about humans that you've missed. While the meeting continued, Unseo and Junho were in a small room on the Indomitable. They worked quickly, searching through data from the Raxian tests. "There's a pattern here," Junho said, pointing to his screen. "Every test they ran was focused on shutting down aggression, making us unconscious or stopping our movement." Shinseo nodded. "They're afraid of our ability to keep fighting, but they missed something important." "What's that?" Junho asked. "The same thing that lets us keep fighting also lets us keep building, healing, and creating." She tapped on her tablet. "I'm sending this to Captain Park now. He needs to show them." Back in the meeting room, Captain Park received the message. He smiled slightly. "Hi, Commander. You've been looking at humans wrong," he said. "Yes, we can. Keep fighting past the point where other species give up. But that's not our real strength." He connected his tablet to the room's display system. Images appeared on the wall. Humans rebuilding cities after disasters, doctors working for days without sleep to save lives, scientists spending years searching for cures. The same trait that makes us continue fighting against overwhelming odds also makes us persist in healing, building, and protecting, Captain Park explained. "What you see is a lack of a combat off switch we call determination. Hope, the will to continue." Jihu added, "Our bodies have physical limits, but our minds can choose to override them, for destruction or creation." The High Commander watched the images silently. Its crystal body changed color slowly as it processed this new information. "This persistence applies to everything we do," General Moon said. "We don't stop fighting for what matters, whether that's survival or the welfare of others." "An interesting perspective," the High Commander said finally. "But how can the Confederation trust that you will use this persistence for good and not conquest?" Captain Park looked the alien directly in its glowing face. "The same way we would trust you, by getting to know each other, by building something together instead of fearing what makes us different." The room fell silent. The fate of Earth hung in the balance as the High Commander considered its decision. The High Commander's crystal body shifted through colors as it thought: red, blue, green, and finally, a calm white. The meeting room was silent. Captain Park, General Moon, and Jihu waited for the alien's decision. Finally, the High Commander spoke. "Your perspective is unexpected. No species has ever presented their lack of control as a positive trait." "It's not a lack of control," Captain Park explained. "It's a different kind of control. We choose when to stop, when to continue." "Show me more," the High Commander said. "Show me how this persistence helps your kind." Captain Park nodded to Jihu, who brought up more images on the screen. They showed humans in many situations: a firefighter carrying a child from a burning building, a doctor performing surgery for 12 hours straight, a team working day and night to rescue people after an earthquake. "These are not warriors," Jihu said, "but they all share the same trait that worried you. They don't stop when they get tired or afraid. They keep going because something matters more than their comfort or safety." The High Commander watched in silence. Then it touched a control on the table. Another Raxian appeared on a side screen. "Bring the historical records of the Mektari," the High Commander ordered. General Moon looked at Captain Park with concern. Junho had told them about the Mektari, the species that had disappeared after refusing to join the Confederation. The new screen filled with images of another alien species. They looked like tall, thin beings with blue skin and 4 arms. The Mektari also had strong persistence, the High Commander said. They also did not have a clear combat deactivation point. "What happened to them?" Jihu asked carefully. "They chose isolation rather than joining the Confederation," the High Commander answered. "They feared our requirements for biological controls. And then they disappeared," General Moon said. It wasn't a question. The High Commander's lights dimmed. "Yes, but not as you suspect. 3 years after their isolation began, they contacted us. A disease had spread through their population. They needed help. New images appeared. Raxian medical, ships, Mektari being treated. We tried to save them. Their persistence made them fight the disease longer than any species could. But in the end, most died. The survivors asked to relocate to a Confederation world with medical facilities. They became part of us." Captain Park studied the images. "You didn't destroy them." No, the Confederation does not destroy. We contain threats and integrate willing members. The High Commander turned its glowing face to each human in turn. Your species presents a unique challenge. Your persistence could be valuable to the Confederation, but dangerous if misused. All power is dangerous if misused, General, Moon said. That's why we use choice and reason to guide our actions, not just biology. The High Commander seemed to consider this. I must consult with the Council. Please wait. It glided from the room, leaving the humans alone. What do you think? Jihu asked. I think we've given them something to think about, Captain Park replied. Whether that's enough, we'll see. On Earth, Yunseo and Junho watched the Raxian fleet on the big screen in the defense center. The ships aren't moving, Junho noted. That's a good sign, right? Yunseo nodded. I hope so, but they're still in attack position. A young officer ran up to them. We're getting strange readings from the Raxian fleet. They're powering up something, but it's not weapons. What then? Yunseo asked. Communications, the officer said. Massive communications. They're talking to someone beyond our solar system. Junho's eyes widened. The Confederation Council. They're deciding what to do about us. After an hour, the High Commander returned to the meeting room. 2 other Raxians followed. They were different colors, one blue, one green. Captain Park guessed they were high-ranking officials. The Council has reached a decision, the High Commander announced. It was not easy. Your species is unique in our experience. The humans tensed, ready for bad news. The Confederation exists to promote peace and cooperation, the High Commander continued. For thousands of years we have relied on biological limitations to maintain this peace. And since we don't have the same limitations, you see us as a threat, General Moon said. Yes, the High Commander admitted. But your demonstration has shown us something important. Persistence can serve creation as well as destruction. The Blue Raxian stepped forward. I am the Science Elder. Your ability to continue beyond normal limits fascinates me. It could advance our medical knowledge, our exploration efforts. The Green One spoke next. I am the Peace Elder. Your choice-based control concerns me. It is unpredictable, but I cannot deny that your history shows both great violence and great compassion. The choice has led to both. Captain Park stood straight. So what is your decision? The High Commander's crystal body glowed brightly. The Confederation offers humanity a unique position. Not as standard members, but as special associates. You would not be required to accept biological controls. Instead, we would form joint projects where human persistence could benefit all. Like what? Jihu asked. Medical emergency teams, the Science Elder suggested. Deep space exploration, disaster response, areas where your unique traits are valuable. And in return? General Moon asked, suspicious. Regular cultural exchange, trade of knowledge and technology, and a promise that human persistence will not be used for conquest or aggression against Confederation worlds, the Peace Elder said. The humans looked at each other. This was not what they had expected. We would need to discuss this with all Earth nations, Captain Park said. This decision affects everyone on our planet. Of course, the High Commander agreed. Our fleet will withdraw to a respectful distance while you consider. But know this. Your lack of a combat-off switch could make you valuable allies in ways we never imagined. The galaxy has challenges that require endurance beyond normal limits. 1 week later, Captain Park stood on the bridge of the Indomitable. Earth had agreed to the Confederation's offer, with some added conditions to ensure Earth's independence. The Raxian fleet was preparing to depart, leaving only a small diplomatic ship in orbit. Do you think they'll keep their word? Doyen asked, standing beside him. I think they're truly curious about us, Captain Park replied, and a little afraid still. That's not a bad starting point. And the special projects they mentioned? Will you volunteer? Captain Park smiled. Yes, I want to see what's out there, and show them that our persistence can build bridges, not just win fights. On the screen, the Raxian ships began to move away, their crystal hulls catching the sun's light. They came looking for our weakness, Captain Park said softly. Instead, they found our strength. Doyon nodded. The lack of a combat off switch wasn't a design flaw after all. No, Captain Park agreed. It was humanity's gift to the stars. As the Indomitable turned back toward Earth, he thought about the future. Humans would soon be working alongside aliens who had almost become their enemies. There would be challenges and misunderstandings. But humans were good at not giving up, at pushing through difficult times. Sometimes the thing others fear most about you is exactly what they need most from you. The Raxians had learned that lesson, and humanity was ready to teach it to the stars. The end.